Hello, everybody, and welcome to Paranormal Nation Radio. Not so normal tonight, but it's going to be a great topic on here. How's Denise and Ron tonight? Yeah, there's Nigel.
There he is. Hey, Nigel.
Thank you, Nigel.
But well, I'd like to welcome everybody out there in Facebook land and YouTube land and Rumble land. Thank you so much for coming on and I forgot Xland. So I want you guys all to pay attention tonight, ask questions, and if you have something you want to share with us, please do. Just remember the opinions shared here tonight are not those necessarily of the network, but of the people who are speaking at this point in time. So do not hold it against anybody if we say anything that's going to irritate, piss you off, or send you running for the hills.
Right. And this show is mainly for people listening to it to watch what they're seeing on their social media platforms, especially on Facebook. Yeah. And everything. YouTube's got a lot of it going on now too, but Facebook especially. But anyway, you brought us some great guests for this topic tonight.
Yes, I did. They happened to be speaking about it last week when I heard their show, and I thought, you know what? They're all caught up on the subject. Let's just ask them, see if they want to come on. And so I met Sean and Courtney from Hill City Paranormal on while they had their podcast going last week. And so I asked them to come on, and they graciously said, hell yeah, I'll do it. So I got them here. They're from Richmond, Virginia, and my old stomping grounds, at least not too far from them. So it'll be good to have their opinions too. And will we all agree? I don't know, but it's still good for us to talk about it.
Amanda's watching this from Japan.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
So.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah. Well, she's actually probably watching it on the Bill of Rights Network. For everybody listening, all the group pages now, you can't go live on there using StreamYard. So we had to share it from one of our pages over to it so you can see it and watch it. So, thank you for everybody joining. Anyway, let's bring up ACP Paranormal and get this topic going because it's going to be a great topic.
Welcome,
hello,
Sean.
welcome.
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
Yeah, we appreciate you having us. We're actually from Lynchburg, Virginia, about 2 hours from Richmond.
That's where my dad was born and raised.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So my family I have family in Portsmouth, Virginia Beach, Gretna, Alta Vista.
All over.
There's trees with my name on it from my diapers up and down 81.
Man.
Back when they would just change them and throw them out the window.
Yeah. People still do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, but they were cloth back then. So, but yeah, I have a whole lot of family history in Virginia. So, well, when did you guys get started in the paranormal?
We've been doing this together for about 13 years. Sean's been actually investigating for probably right around 20. I've been investigating about 15 years or so. We actually created our team itself like within the last year. We had several people reach out, similar interests. They were like, hey, we wish we had a team around here. We researched multiple names, found out that there was actually another Hill City Paranormal. And so I was like, man, that sucks. We can't use that name. And I reached out to the gentleman who created it, and he told me he laughed and laughed and told me, he said, we literally created that for like a short film that we were doing, and it really doesn't exist. He's like, you can have all rights to it, like any domain names, anything like that. He's like, I haven't touched it since like 2006. So like we did a project with it and that was it. So Hill City Paranormal kind of stuck, being that we are from the Hill City. So
Awesome.
So,
Hello, Tom.
so welcome to the show.
Hey, Tom.
I've been doing this. I've been doing podcasting for 9 years. So it's been a little while. And I've been investigating with Ron since 2009, but I've been seeing spirits since I was 4.
That's probably before that.
So are we still echoing, Carl?
No, I don't hear it.
I don't hear an echo.
We don't hear an echo either.
Okay.
I was hearing a little bit.
Okay, there we go. But tonight our topic is going to be, we are going to get this stuff going. Evidence and how some people fake them. So I brought up some pictures, and like I said, there's no names with them or anything like that.
You got so many windows open?
I don't have any open for this. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm hearing an echo.
I'm hearing it now too.
Yeah, on our end.
Yeah. So
We still don't hear an echo.
I don't have any windows open that are related to this. So
You don't have Rumble or anything open, do you?
I don't open any windows when we're doing this stuff, mostly
I know
because of the
you
fact
don't.
that I don't have time to do that. But I'm going to just keep going. So I found some pictures. I found them online, and they were presented to people as being real pictures. And people bought in on it. And it's kind of irritating because some of these pictures are, people are gullible. Let's just say that. People are just gullible. So here's one of them that they're saying that this was in a hospital in the UK. And right in here, they say that there's a little girl. Okay. So way back when in the day, probably 10 or 15 years ago.
Your headsets?
No, they're unplugged.
Okay.
So a picture similar to this got on the news in Arizona in a hospital. And they said, hey, there's this person that's on, there's a ghost. So what do you guys see?
I mean,
Can you zoom all the way in?
yeah, I was going to say I would probably zoom in on it.
Not a good
So,
picture.
So I see like the bottom of a dress, maybe, or a kid in a dress.
uh,
Like I see the head
Mhm.
and a dress at the bottom.
I mean, I see a possible child that's way too short to be walking.
Right.
You know, that would be my biggest thing. You know, babies, newborns don't walk.
Right.
That doesn't look like a newborn though. I can make out hair.
But then again, you know,
It looks like it could be maybe a 2-3-year-old kid.
maybe,
But,
yeah.
But what I'm going to say is if you take this picture out of there and you search on this picture, it's going to come up as a picture in a thing called Ghost Camera. It's an app that you add to your phone, and you just take random pictures, and randomly ghosts will show up in your pictures.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I've heard about this app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't use it as much anymore as they used to.
But at first
So-
glance, I would say there is something there. But I
Right.
mean, if they're using an app to manipulate that, then obviously.
Well, the thing is we don't know that.
Right.
You know, it's just presented to us as factual that this is a ghost picture. And until you take that and you search on that image on Google, you're not going to know.
That's
So
true.
another story in Phoenix, Arizona, they had done the same thing. It got on the news, on their local news, and it ended up going viral. They never checked it out. And it was a little boy that looked like, he looked like he was Revolutionary War days. So totally out of the eras of anything Phoenix wise, you know.
Right.
What? They didn't have any big fights out there? In
No.
Arizona?
No Revolutionary War fights.
That's weird.
So I thought it was funny that it got on there, but that nobody checked it. Well, then they went and right after I found out about it, they wiped all the websites that they had it on because
Yeah.
they found out that they didn't fact check it. So, and
The news? Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't fact check it? Wow.
okay,
That's
so
amazing.
this
I don't
picture
think
here,
they fact checked anything.
Carl sent me. Okay.
Oh, this one's
Just to give you a heads up, we're volunteers at this location.
it's in Pike, Illinois.
They got
I would say
Or all,
what's that term? Pareidolia or something?
Look at this.
wow, no, they overloaded this one.
Okay,
This
so
is
look
this
here.
is a Photoshop crap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
They got a
They
ghost
loaded
party
this one
going
up.
on.
Okay, so see right here, this is color, this is black and white.
yeah.
Right.
This is color, this is black and white. This is what color the building is. It is this color. This picture of just the windows and stuff would have had to have been 15 years or more ago. That's the first thing because there's real windows in there.
Right.
You know, so and what about this kid here with his head in the on the jam? Yeah.
Did they really present that as evidence?
Yeah.
This
It
was
looks like
what
Colonel
was it, a
Sanders
week
up
and a
there in
half
the
ago,
top left.
Denise, that I sent this to you and everything. This is what we're talking about, people. This was a picture put on Facebook by some media entertainment place. And it said underneath the heading, McPike Mansion.
Yikes.
And the thing is McPike Mansion is haunted. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You know, not by a demon like Zach says. There's no demon there.
No.
I've been there. We've been there too many years. But why would you first off Photoshop it in the middle here? Why would it go from black and white to color in the picture?
Right.
You know, if you're gonna do it right. Make it look realistic.
Yeah, that was a complete amateur move right there.
Oh yeah, this one's horrible.
Right.
Yeah, they could have done a lot better with that.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah, they way overdid it.
I mean, even if they had
1,
just
2, 3, 4,
they could
5,
have been-
6, 7, 8, 9.
at least
Wow.
all they had to do was make this a little bit smaller and at least get the black and white where it's black.
Right.
You know, it's not that hard.
And I don't know
And-
what's going on this side. Like he's
Yeah, it's like a whole ghost party.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big party.
And the thing is that part.
And what's
I don't
Colonel
know.
Sanders doing there on the top?
That's what I was going to say. You got
Yeah.
the top picture there. It looks like Colonel
Is he there
Sanders.
cooking? I don't know.
He brought the
The
catering.
picture down below looks like Spook Mask.
Well, you know,
He said, "I got a
These
new
two
recipe."
over here on
Let's
the
call
other
it
side,
right.
hard to tell. And then the little bitty one looks like an actual black and white photo of a person.
Yeah.
well, this one here, like I said before, this looks like Kiss.
Yeah, I need to go back.
That's
To
what I
Yeah.
thought when I first saw it. I was like, oh, there's Gene Simmons. Cool.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And this is anonymous. He's in there too. Who'd have thunk? But you know, I looked at this and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of history there, and there are people who have died related to this location as late as 2018. That you could have spirits going back to 1868 to now. I could see it, but really.
Yeah, they
So-
went overboard on that one.
Yeah, that's what I said. They went crazy.
That's why I had to send it to Denise. I knew they were volunteers down there and been there for a lot of years. And I was like, no way, no how, this picture is real. You know.
Okay, now this one. This is
Now, on that last picture, now about where that picture was taken, just up above it near the roof, we did see a big bright blue ball of light on that side, and it was a rainy night. There was, the moon couldn't have gotten through the clouds or anything to cause it was bright blue light, about the size of a beach ball. That was weird.
with with their own eyes.
Yeah.
So this next picture, as you can see, here's the original, and here's one that's been messed with.
Wow.
And who's to say this isn't a watermark back in here?
Or
I mean, I'm not
reflection.
saying that they faked anything in this one. I think they may have misread it, but what are your thoughts on that?
I'm thinking double exposure
Yeah.
is what I'm thinking, which was actually like something that happened frequently, you know, back in the day. You would take
Yep.
a picture of one subject and it would almost duplicate itself. Hey,
Right.
Chuck.
So this type of camera was one that you would hold like this and you would look down into it, into the viewfinder, because this was taken in the late 40s.
Right.
So it wouldn't have been a Polaroid or anything like that, but it would have been something then right before the Polaroid. So it's just kind of weird, but you know,
I mean, secondly, I see the crack up the middle, which also is, you know, common for an older picture. It could have been folded up, whatever. But
Mhm.
I'm going
But
with
this
double-
is
I'm
neat
going with
looking
double
over here.
exposure.
I'm looking at double exposure because you look at the main character in it is fuzzy down below, and the bricks are light colored until you get over to the supposedly the ghost, and it's dark brick.
Right.
The shape of the two faces are actually the same if you look at it.
Mhm.
The shape.
Mhm.
Right.
So
I don't know.
it's interesting though. Like I said, I think somebody read more into it than they should have, but it could be a double exposure, it could be a watermark, it could be from the, you know, the light, currently the light, because you can see how yellowed it is. It could have oxidized like this. I mean, I have a buttload of pictures that are this color from the 60s
Right.
that my family took, and that's what they look like now. So am I going to sit there and go, "Ooh, look, all my pictures now have some weird thing in it," but it looks like Nick
Nick Mulette. It does. It does look like Nick.
Yeah, this one here, the face, not this here, but this does look neat. I can't believe they didn't just say, "Hey, there's an alien in my picture."
Right. But
Right.
it's
I
like
mean,
Steve
it
said,
looks
pareidoia.
like, it looks like if I was to see this and not be educated or gullible, as you guys say, I would think there's an angry old woman in the
Yeah.
window. You know, but the problem with it is there's a break. So yes, her face looks angry, but there's actually not an outfit or a body. If you look, it's just kind of a hump.
Right. You see her head, you see her neck, and a necklace
Right.
down below it in the circle,
Right.
I think.
And here it is before they highlighted it. You know, when you're looking at this, kind of looks like they're looking sideways and that there's a bullet hole through the middle of the head. I mean, if we wanted to go with
Right.
pareidoia.
Right.
So it's interesting, what we see. And like Steve Foster says, pareidoia. How often is it pareidoia?
Quite frequently, actually.
Well, if you look at the original picture and look at, you can't see my hand, but if you look at the person and then you look at like when you start editing it, even if you look at the brick at the bottom, how much the pattern on the brick changes from just exposing the picture. You create images by just editing a picture.
Mm-hmm. And, it could just
What's up,
be,
Ronnie?
Hey, Ronnie.
From them folding it in half, it could have screwed it all up completely anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So the darker picture looks like she is wearing glasses, and the light one just eyes and no glasses.
It does kind of look like that.
Mm-hmm. So
definitely no
Steve,
glasses
the yellowed picture is the original on this. So, and then here's this next one. I'm not going to say anything. I want you guys to tell me what you think.
You guys tell us what you think.
Like Cheech and Chong.
Somebody was smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Exactly.
See this ashtray down here?
Yeah.
Not to mention the glasses of wine and the beer bottles. And more than likely, the sitting back here with a camera, probably not a cell phone, but a camera taking a picture of the area. And that looks really neat. It does look like
Somebody's bent over the table about to grab a beer.
The picture.
Oh, yeah. Could. But
Yeah, definite cigarette smoke. You know, based on, I know Steve Foster said it looks like smoke or a vape at a barbecue party.
Yeah, it is.
You are correct on that. Vape, probably not telling the age of this picture, but
Right.
I mean, you never know. Probably a cigarette. My favorite ones are when people post and I don't know if you have one, but post the pictures of the bonfires or the campfires that they have, and then they find the faces in the flames.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
If you stare at a fire for long enough, you see shit in the fire.
Yep.
Like,
Mhm.
if you
And-
happen to snap a picture at the right time, you will find one.
Take pictures
know.
of the sky and you can see faces too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So whenever we're on an investigation, if we're in a place where vaping is allowed, like outdoors, you know, if we're like covering a battlefield or something like that, we will actually announce for camera purposes, I'm vaping, or I hit my vape, or whatever.
Right.
You'll hear us say that in the camera. And that's just, you know, putting the disclaimer out. So when we go back to review evidence, we know if we see, you know, the Slender Man, we
Oh, yeah.
know one of us hit the vape.
And that's definitely some photo editing there too.
I mean, it could be or could not be. Smoke is weird. It does weird
Yeah.
stuff.
This picture was taken probably in the 80s. Based
Right.
on the sideburns.
80s or late 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the clothing looks like stuff I wore back in the 70s.
Yeah,
The
the
little
jean
jacket and stuff.
jacket.
Well, that's if it's in the United States. You know, they're still dressing like that overseas.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. Hell, I still wear the same clothes that I wore in the 80s. If they still fit, I'm still wearing them. They're all back in style. So, and here's this last one.
Hello.
What do you see?
A guy with a mustache.
It looks like that actor. What's his name? Not Tom Cruise, but the other guy. Mission Impossible dude.
That is Tom Cruise.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah.
So here's who I'm going to say it looks like. We're going to stick with the paranormal. Brian J. Kano.
I don't know who that is.
He is the guy
he's
from
one of the-
Haunted Collector. He was one of Johnny Zappa's.
Paranormal caught on camera commentator that
Oh,
everything
gotcha,
is.
gotcha.
I never watched that.
Yeah.
Neither-
Yeah, well, I can't stomach it either.
It looks like Greg Allman.
Yeah.
They buy
Hey.
into everything.
Yeah. So, needless to say, this looks like it's Photoshopped. They just did a better job than the other guy with McPike. Got the black and white picture in where it's supposed to be.
Look like Greg Allman. Yeah.
But they said in their caption, they said that this picture was in an abandoned house, that there was not supposed to be anybody in there.
With brand new siding.
But what are the odds of it actually being a real person looking out the window? Because it looks like they're working on this house based on the fact that around the windows, this has all been scraped to be painted.
Right.
Right.
So there's a few things that could be going on here. Somebody
Well-
drove by and just thought, hey,
The head size proportioned in that window is too big.
I was thinking the same. You reading my mind just now.
I know.
I was
I
like,
was
the head-
sitting there because I'm trying to figure out what that white part, like a table or a sheet or whatever, is underneath it.
and that window is
Like a table or something.
actually, it looks like
Yeah.
they're putting a new window in more than. So I don't know, but that's in Ohio.
And what gets me is the top window is all dirty and the bottom window is crystal clear.
Yeah, it looks like the top window's boarded up there. I'm gonna go with Photoshopped
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
for sure. Or like you
Yeah.
said, somebody's bent over, kind of looking out the window,
Mhm.
like a construction worker or something like that.
But also though, depending on when the picture was taken and what camera it was with, I've taken pictures before of people standing right in front of me and they look like a ghost standing there.
Yeah.
And I've
So,
seen that too.
Yeah.
We had this really interesting one, another one at the Villisca Axe Murder House. So at the Villisca Axe Murder House, there's these windows like at Amityville, little side windows. And there was this guy that happened to be in there, and one of our paranormal friends decided to take a picture. And he took a picture and he pulls it down and he looks at it and he goes, "Oh my God, I got a spirit." And I go, "No, you didn't. You got that kid that's up there." And he goes, "No." He goes, "It can't be." And it was an African-American kid. So he stuck out like a sore thumb because he was the only kid there that was an African-American kid. And I said, "Come here." And I got him to come down and we're looking at it. And I go,
I was upstairs in the attic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was up there.
I asked him, I said, "Were you looking out the window in the attic?" And he goes, "Yes, I was."
Yeah.
And I held up the phone and I go, "Is this you?" And he goes, "Yeah." But the person still wanted to pass it off as a paranormal picture.
Yeah. Sometimes people get in denial about things.
How do you deal with that? With people who come to you with stuff and it is pareidolia or it is dust,
I'm gonna be honest with you. When a lot of people don't come to me with their evidence, but when they do, I tell them this is my opinion.
Right.
And exactly, Ronnie, this is my opinion, and I'm gonna give you what I think it is or think it isn't, and leave it at that. The whole cause for the show that y'all witnessed was somebody calibrating my evidence. And so, as we go through these pictures, it just made me, it's like deja vu all over again. But, but it was like, when people ask me my opinion, I'll just tell them this, if you really want my honest opinion, this is what I think it could be. And I always use careful wording. This is what it could be. This is what I think it may be. People are either going to get mad or they're not. But my circle's very small. Even in the paranormal world, we move very different than a lot of other people. So a lot of people really don't come to us for questions about Now me, I have people that I go to with when I ask their opinion on if I've caught something paranormal. We've got probably, I don't know, 1,000 hours worth of hardcore evidence that nobody will ever see. Why? Because of all the people who will sit back and literally say everything in the world is not evidence. And I don't have the time or the energy to sit here and argue with everybody. So there's certain people that I will go to when I catch things and say, "Hey, what do you think this is? Give me your opinion." And it's like 2 or 3 people. And that's honestly what sparked us to do that pop-up podcast that y'all joined. I shared it to somebody and it was their venue that it was caught at and they thought it was cool and they shared it. Then somebody got on there and was like, "I can debunk all that." And I'm like, and they try to debunk it based on, and I know I'm rambling at this point, but they debunked it based on our reaction as an investigator.
Because we didn't jump up and be like, "Oh my God." When a piece of equipment went off, they said that it was not paranormal. And we're sitting here, we're like, okay, so at the end of the day, unless you're there on that investigation, you don't know why we react the way that we react. 1A, we've been doing this a really long time. Okay, it's not our first time seeing that piece of equipment go off. Now, the first time we saw that particular piece of equipment go off, you heard cussing in the video. Holy shit. Oh my God. Wow. Whoa. Things like you got that reaction. But when you have or you are participating in an overnight investigation, it's coming to a close, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, you're not going to react the same as you would at, say, 8 o'clock when you started your investigation. You're tired. You're like, okay, cool. Like, yes, the equipment went off. That's great.
But why couldn't they have done it sooner when I was more active?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, in my opinion, Okay. In my opinion, I think well, I know spirits draw off of energy. So I think they get just as tired as we do. So if we're, pinpointing questions or phrases or trying to communicate with a spirit and the spirit's just as tired as we are, we may not get a reaction right away either.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
in this
I agree
particular
with you.
in this particular video, we had, hey, Crystal. In this particular video, we had the dead bell, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it is a bell that works off of EMF. Okay. And that was set up. And the question that was asked after us being there in that particular room for almost 2 hours, if you would like us to leave, can you ring the bell 3 times? Ding, ding, ding. The bell went ding, ding, couple seconds, ding. Okay. So at that point,
after not ringing at all.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Right. So, what Sean did was he sent a brief clip, like we were reviewing on our computer. And so Sean took a cell phone clip, like with his cell phone recording the computer, and sent it to the caretakers of this location. They thought that was super cool. And so they posted it. So, without this person in particular coming to us and saying, hey, do you have a longer clip of that? Is there any way? Because you kind of cut it off like right after the 3rd ding, nobody really reacted. That could have been falsified, things like that. I don't think that that's paranormal. Instead of coming to us with that, it went into this big status in a public group. And we are ones, as you could tell from our podcast, Denise, when you jumped in, we're ones that we will call ourselves out before somebody else calls us out. So, I did not know that the post was about me and my team. So I commented on the post, and I'll put it out there. His question was, how do I call out a team that I believe is falsifying evidence? And I said, and I commented, don't. Because it's not your business. At the end of the day,
before I go any further, I'm putting a disclaimer. That gentleman and I
was about to go there.
Talked and we resolved the
yes,
issue.
I was about to go
but
there.
This is why we're still talking about it, though. We're
right.
going into why we're still talking about it.
So after that, it was brought up. Sean and him ended up having a conversation in private message, which is how it should have been handled to begin with. He just needed to know a little bit more about the piece of equipment. And that could have all been resolved without putting out a status on Facebook. So he took the status down and then put up a public apology. And, what that did, in my particular opinion, is that rubbed me even more wrong, because what that did was cause people to comment and say that we were butthurt that he called out our evidence. No, ma'am. No, sirs. We are not butthurt at all. If you think my evidence is fake, if you think what we're doing is fake, please, by all means, come to me about it. Right. But when we had our podcast, the reason that we had it is because I tried to explain to people, I've been doing this for way too long. I am not going to pay X amount of dollars for a location to sit there and fake evidence. It's not going to happen. I'm paying out of my own hardworking money. If I was in a free location or putting up pictures like this of just abandoned buildings that I'm passing by, okay, let's talk about that. That might make more sense for somebody to falsify something. But when you're in this field, you genuinely have to have an interest for the scientific piece of the paranormal world. Okay. And that's really what it is. And I'll give you another example from that night. We had a new piece of equipment that we're beta testing for an independent equipment maker.
Booze Paranormal.
Yep. Booze Paranormal, and a music box. And what it is the piece of equipment that he is making is a ghost sonar. Okay. It sends out sonar waves. And the idea behind it is if it hits a unknown source, a spirit or something like that, it will go off. Okay. So we were in a room. The music box was about 10 feet away. This piece of equipment was about 10 feet away. All right. And every time that this piece of equipment would pan, and it pans in a 180. I do want to put that out there too. So every time it would pan in this one particular area, the music box would go off. So this particular piece of equipment has a 4-foot depth on it. It doesn't pick up anything past 4 feet. So we're going, what is going on? This involved an hour and a half of debunking.
Night,
So-
Nigel.
Night, Nigel. This involved an hour and a half of debunking. So when I say that if you're a true paranormal investigator, you spend more time debunking yourself than you do putting out false evidence for the world to debunk. You know, if I wasn't an actual investigator and, you know, I just had an interest as a ghost hunter, I might be putting out pictures like this. I might be photoshopping. I might be doing things like that. But, you know, I believe a true paranormal investigator gets down in the nitty gritty and gets their hands dirty. All right. So, you know,
you got to debunk your evidence. And then if you're going to use the term butthurt, please use it correctly.
There's not a whole lot of things in my life that get me butthurt.
You know, well,
I hate to say this, but if you're getting butt hurt, that's a whole different problem. And we're not talking about that here.
Exactly.
Right.
If you're going, I mean, so on that comment thread, there was this one person who just went under everybody's comment saying this team got butthurt because their evidence got called out. All right, well, first of all, our evidence never got called out. Nobody ever said Hill City Paranormal put out fake evidence. Nobody called us out. Nobody. What they said, and so this person goes on every comment. They got butthurt. They got butthurt. First of all, I was responding, so I went and commented under this.
I told we went ahead and called ourselves.
This evidence was about my team, and I know, and I said, if anybody has any questions, feel free to message me. I noticed every comment stopped after that. And so my point is that that's one reason why I don't take I never put up still shots. I don't take many pictures during the investigation. I know a lot of people do. I know a lot of people do, and we can continue this. I just wanted to put this segment in just because it was kind of over answering your question, so to speak.
It's okay.
But still shots can have anything in it. If you're in night mode, it can pick up anything. Anytime your camera has to adjust or change or do things or something's moving, it's really hard to get an accurate picture, especially like an old picture like we were looking at earlier. It's the minute somebody does anything to adjust the quality of the picture, everything else in the picture is going to change.
Right.
When it does that.
The pixels all change.
Yeah. And then so when you like the one picture, some of them are blatantly Photoshop. Some of them are good. You can't tell because you weren't there. So all we can do is give our opinion. So when somebody asks us to get back to your original question, if somebody asks us, you know, I just say in my opinion, based on what I know and what I've seen in my experience, here's your answer. Hope you accept it. If you get mad at me, you get mad at me, and that's fine.
Right. And somebody with photography.
Look at what the AI generators are doing now.
Oh my God! Yes, don't get me started on AI generators, Lord.
Yeah.
But
they can create anything with it.
I have a little bit of a photography background, and I'm also have gotten away from taking pictures on investigations, like actual still shots, because, like he said, on the new Samsungs, you know, the night shot on there, like if you don't hold it perfectly still, you're not getting an accurate picture. So, you know, in our 15 years of doing this, I have caught what I believe is a total of two full-bodied apparitions. One,
3 actually.
One
all from the same location.
Yeah, one was only like a mist that resembled like a body. And then one was an actual full body, and the third one was not taken by me. But what I did is I sent these out to other people that like professional photography companies. And, you know, they ran them through a variety of programs. They tried to, you know, put them in Photoshop. They tried to put them in this and could not debunk them. So when they wrote me back about my pictures, they said, I set these through a variety of my apps on my computer, and they did not alter in any way. So in my opinion, using that term again, in my opinion, these cannot be debunked. So it's real important. And this goes back to the original question that you asked too. It's real important that we don't ever say that anything is paranormal.
Right.
We don't ever call something paranormal or a ghost, but I just can't explain it.
Yeah.
You know, and the big thing is we set up multiple cameras on tripods. We both wear body cams. And then there will also be some handheld cameras floating around if we're all in one room. And that is actually to, again, debunk ourselves. So, for example, I had my camera set on burst shot. So it took a round of 3 photos back to back. Photo 1 was nothing. Photo 2 was the apparition. Photo 3 was nothing. The first thing I did before I even did anything else was pull my SD cards out of my cameras and see, was somebody walking by? Was there anybody in this area? Let me see from the actual video cameras what was going on in that corner.
Look at timestamp.
And there was nobody there. And, you know, I'll send you, Denise, I can send you the picture. And you know, you can eat it up on one of these programs. But you know, it's
that's why these are anonymous pictures.
Right.
I'm the only one that knows where they came from. So, because I didn't want to call people out, you know, and have them go, well, you hurt my feelings. No, that's
exactly.
not what
you're a butthurt.
Yeah. Well, and again, people pay good money for that, and I'll take your money if that's the case.
Right.
But what some of the stuff that you've said is very similar to stuff we did. We used to be not the paranormal team, but we used to be the hosts of the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas for 7 years. And so people would come in and bring us pictures of stuff, and they would say, "What do you think this is?"
Right.
And I would say things very nicely, and it would be, "That's a very interesting picture." That would be the bulk of it. And I would ask the circumstances around it. And then say to them, "Well, what do you think it is?" Never, ever did I have to actually give an opinion.
Right. And see, I want to touch on Ronnie Anderson. Shout out Bedford Paranormal. He's actually a hop, skip, and a jump away from Hill City Paranormal, which is awesome. Hill. Crystal Hills with Ghost Hunting Housewives. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I know Crystal.
Oh, yeah, we've had them on the show.
We love us, Crystal.
Yeah, we're supposed to be seeing her in October.
I'm jealous. Ronnie says he has 15 years of evidence on external hard drives that I haven't put out yet because of the so-called experts that want to put their 2 cents in. Sean and I were just talking about this, and he touched on it earlier. We have hours upon hours upon hours of evidence that we have not posted on our Hill City page because we don't want to deal with it. Now,
I agree.
My TikTok page is wide open. I put up almost weekly orbs or dust, and I do it on purpose because I want that argument. I want that engagement, you know, and it's people, you know, that there's split down the middle. Some people believe in orbs. Some people believe it's dust, and that's cool. Let's talk about it. But I openly invite the debate because I like to hear other people's opinions.
We're here for the comments on that one.
Yeah. So, you know.
And Tom Nichols.
Now I'm going to ask that question. Just give a second. I'll ask the question.
Yeah,
I got excited. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But and the other thing that I wanted to say along with your comments is, as a paranormal investigator and as a human being, you should be having integrity in everything that you do. If you don't, then you deserve whatever is happening to you. But the integrity is a big deal.
Tell them about the orb you saw.
Yeah, I did
see it with your eyes, and it followed.
I saw an orb
me and Joe
at this location, and I'm walking down the hallway, and Ron got a new cell phone, and I didn't have a flashlight. I needed it, and it had to be. I had to use
Sean.
Had to use the camera, you know, the video camera for light because it didn't have a flashlight on it. So I'm holding it up in the air, and I'm not looking at it. I'm just holding it up in the air, and I go, "Oh my God, I see an orb following you guys down the hallway." And you can see it following this guy down the hallway. And Ron goes, "Well, did you get it?" And I go, "I don't know." And then I realized that I was using the video camera on the phone. and you can tell that I'm not, you can tell that it's up higher than I am. I'm only 4'3". No, I'm 5'3". I'm short. So it looked like it was much higher than I was, but
Right.
it was one of those things that I saw it and I called it out before I ever even looked at the camera.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty neat. But I don't always believe in orbs, though.
I'm kind of up in the air with it. That's one of our biggest debates. And Tyler, thank you for those of you, if you see some of these comments, I just want to put a disclaimer out there. Sean had surgery yesterday. So he's sitting here where they're looking good.
I'm on lots of medication right now.
Oh, well,
So for what it is,
feeling good too.
If I excuse myself a couple times, I'm sorry.
but
I had surgery on my ticker here, my heart. So
Denise did too.
Yeah.
But I'm still here though.
That's right.
I'm alive.
Did you have ablation surgery?
That's exactly what he had yesterday.
So you got the free haircut too.
It was a whole argument. You know what? I think it's funny we're talking about this on the podcast. So since we want to talk about it, let's talk about it. It was an hour delay.
He delayed his own surgery over this.
I didn't know they were going to shave my manhood down here. I didn't know they was going to do all that. But once I found out it was a hot nurse doing it, I was like, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's all yours. Go ahead.
So you lucked out. They did mine if I was scheduled during the eclipse.
Oh my.
Oh man.
Yeah. So everybody left to go look out at the eclipse and left me in there waiting for the doctor to come in. And then at the end of the day, what's funny is I was the last one. And so they were in a hurry to get me out of there so they could go home.
Oh man.
So needless to say, thank goodness I didn't have to get admitted. But yeah, I had ablation surgery as well, just on the 8th. So it does get better.
Yeah, I'm feeling it today. Yesterday I didn't feel nothing. I came home and I was like, I'm good. Like no bleeding. I'm good. Yeah. I woke up today and I'm like, ooh.
He's sore today.
Yeah.
You know what got me?
You're gonna be sore for a few days.
Yeah. What got me was how much betadine I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no clue that I had betadine from my knees and I was still finding tape as of yesterday.
Yeah, I think she's growing it.
Yeah. I kept finding little. So don't be surprised if you find more tape.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm good though. But everybody who's saying looking good and good to see you, thank you. I'm here. You're not investigating me. I'm happy about that. I made it through.
That's awesome.
So needless to say,
do you guys do you investigate a lot of personal homes, or you go out to commercial sites?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. A little bit of everything.
It's actually we do less commercial sites. Just because I feel like you told me to put my brakes on, but I will say that I feel like if certain places are over investigated,
right?
So that's what we were going to say.
I feel like if it's over investigated. How do I put it? I feel like places can be over investigated.
Yes.
I feel like if too many teams are going in places, you don't know what those other teams are doing.
Right. Number
one. Number two, I feel like spirits may get used to people. I feel like spirits also can run out of energy. We come equipped with multiple EM pumps. I'm a firm believer, and I'm just these are things that I've just learned through the years. Some people don't believe in them. Some people do. We use them a lot, but we also, if you look at our evidence, and the things that we've gotten some pretty crazy stuff. Like some to get it on tape and get it. Well, I said on tape, on camera. That's how long we've been doing it to get on tape. But to get it on camera, the stuff that we've gotten, I'm a firm believer in the EM pump. I believe more energy in the air, more energy in the room. It does generate activity.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you. We were at Sally House tour guides there for 7 years, and there would be times we would go in there and that house was completely dead. And then a storm would roll in. Oh my gosh, it completely changed.
Especially
Completely. If there had lightning, oh yeah, it went crazy.
But we're also very scientific investigators. I don't go into a location without a full weather station. So I pay attention to barometric pressure. I pay attention to temperature, phases of the moon. And we document and log all that stuff.
No, it's
somebody else that we knew did that.
Frank.
They would write it all down. Yeah.
Frank.
Yeah, well,
we started to.
One of our team members carries a book and logs everything that's said, everything that's going on, everything that happens. And matter of fact, I was reviewing evidence right before I went into surgery, and I noticed that we spend more time debunking things that happen during an investigation
and arguing
about it. And it's a good argument. And the argument's more like, wait a minute, that just happened. So why does this happen?
Yeah.
Okay, try moving that over here to see if it happens again. And if it happens again, it's like, okay, there's no way that could have happened. So, and when we can't figure out why A, B, and C happened, then we say, okay, it's unexplainable. We don't ever say a ghost did it. We just say it's unexplainable. We don't know why it happened. And then I mark it. And then I mark it and log it into my database.
Do you guys use mediums at all?
We did.
We just got one.
We did just have a new team member join us. Her name is Anna, and she does identify as a psychic medium. So,
excuse me for a second.
We again, she just went on her very first investigation with our team this past Saturday, and she's going to be joining us. We have an investigation scheduled this Saturday. But the other thing, just to kind of bounce off of what Sean said, the other thing that we do is we don't just go into a room, set up a REM pod in the middle, set up some equipment, in this corner, and this corner, and leave it. We don't do that. If we're not getting any activity with the placement of our equipment, we will actually rearrange or swap out for different equipment.
Right.
We also try different terminology. We host public investigations down here in Lynchburg at a cemetery. I can't disclose the location for confidentiality purposes, but we do nighttime investigations at this cemetery. And I had in my group, we split off into 3 groups. And in my group, I had a Spanish speaking gentleman. And across the spirit box, he kept getting the name Lily. And this was his first public investigation he's ever been on. He's had a fascination with paranormal, wanted to become, a ghost hunter. Okay. So, when the name Lily kept coming across, he was getting very emotional. So I asked him, I said, does the name Lily have significance to you? And he said, that's my grandmother. He said, my grandmother's name is Lily. And I asked him, I said, has she passed on? And he said, yes. And then right after that, his personal name came through the spirit box, Gabriel. And this just sent him into a frenzy. So he said, can I try something? I said, sure. And so instead of asking your general questions that you would to get somebody to touch the REM pod, he actually spoke in Spanish. And the REM pod responded every single question he asked in Spanish. Now, his grandmother did not pass away here. But, I explained to him, I said, she could be a spirit guide of yours. She could be following you around for protection. There's a multitude of reasons why your grandmother could be coming through right now. But needless to say, what?
I have a theory.
What is it?
That when people go on paranormal investigations, they're looking for paranormal activity, and the spirits that are with them feel free to speak up because they'll be heard.
Right.
People are paying attention.
We actually had.
I like
we had that happen
like
a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that too to explain it. You're teaching us something. I like that.
Yeah, I do like that because I do feel that way.
You learn from people. I like that theory.
And we put out a disclaimer on every public investigation that we do. I tell everybody, I'll say it live on your podcast as well. I do not have jars full of ghosts that I can on the side and carry them around just to open them up and let them go for paranormal investigations.
But you're in Virginia. You should have spirits in a jar all the time.
Yeah, I tell everybody.
Jar.
I use that theory to everybody. I said, I do not have mason jars full of ghosts that I can just bring with me and let loose for an investigation. We do not, investigated this particular location over a dozen times personally. We know this location is haunted,
Right.
but I cannot tell you it's haunted because we've also gone in there and gotten nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know,
We've
but
done that at our cemetery. Go down there, nothing.
yeah,
Then some night, everything happens. Different sounds come in from stories that you've heard about the area and everything like that.
yep.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. That's how it is at you know, any location, to be honest. I also think that people's energy. I mean, we did
Yeah, I was about to say that.
yeah, we did a whole public with a group of skeptics. That was interesting.
It's fun, isn't
yeah.
it?
It
Isn't it fun
was.
when they leave believing?
It was, unfortunately, though, that night that you could feel the shift in energy, and that was one of our slower nights. And I just, you know, when we just did our past public investigation, this past one, I mean, we split off, like I said, into 3 groups. And at the end, we all like reconvene and kind of go over what we got. Every single group was extremely active. I mean, we were in that conference room for almost an hour, just chattering about all the evidence that was captured, REM pod activity, spirit box activity, you know, EVPs, this, that, the third. So but the energy was different with the group that we had. I mean, we had believers in this last group and they were excited and ready to go. And so it's like when the positivity's there and everybody's, you know, open-minded, I think that's another big thing. Open-mindedness. I mean, if I go in, it's just like I clock into work in the morning and I say, today's going to be some bullshit. Today's probably going to be some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But if I clock into work and be like, all right, let's go. You know, we're ready to work. It's, you know, it's Tuesday. I'm off on Thursday. I got one more day to go. I'm, you know, geared up and ready to go. That day is going to be a lot more different than if you just say, this sucks.
Yeah. So what are your day jobs?
So we actually own a group home. We have 2 disabled individuals that reside in our home. I work full time as a centralized scheduler and payroll coordinator for Bon Secours. I don't know if I'm allowed to publicly put that out, but I did anyway. So I work from home remote. I also own Outlawed Entertainment, which is a talent booking agency. Sean is a Nashville recording artist, so I was his man. Well, I still am your manager, I guess. Technically, you're just on break.
I'm on
Well,
leave.
you're married, you're always his manager.
So,
I'm on leave.
yeah, he took a break from the music industry.
Got to be a little too much.
But I did that, and then Hill City Paranormal. So,
Well,
Wow.
if Sean had AFib, is that why you had surgery AFib?
Are you a psych?
The bass and the drum can cause you to go into AFib.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
all the years of all the bass and drums.
You can feel it. I mean, once I started having AFib, I couldn't listen to loud radio anymore because it would throw me into AFib.
Maybe all the years of loud music
Playing on stage.
Oh, can you still hear?
Yep.
I hear really well, actually.
That's good.
Surprised of how well I can actually hear.
Ron has, you know, we met at an Air Force base, and the Air Force base that we were at had B-52s, and Ron was always out on the flight line,
right under them.
Yeah.
I spent some time in the military as well, and I know how loud, you know, an Air Force base can be. And so yeah, I'm surprised.
I played drums, so
I'm surprised I can hear. I'm surprised I hear as well as I do.
You said you used to play drums, Ron?
yeah.
Oh, well, go on a move to Virginia. We're looking for a drummer.
We just moved to Florida.
Everybody runs to Florida.
No. Well,
What's your favorite location up in your area? What's a hot spot?
A hot spot in our area.
I mean, the cemetery that I don't want to just say it because we hosted.
right, you can't.
But
yeah, we have a non-disclosure.
Yeah.
Have you been to Cabin 360?
Yes,
we've been there.
we've been there
We
twice.
just left there. We got some amazing evidence there.
Yeah, last weekend we were just there. You know, the first time we went in there, it was just, I would put that number one as one of my favorite locations in Virginia. After this past weekend, it's still one of my favorite locations. It just was slower than normal. You know, I don't know what the reason is. I mean, we've been in some of the most reportedly haunted locations and had a dead night. So, I mean, I don't think there's a rhyme or reason. I mean, spirits don't have a watch on. They're not like, oh, it's 8:00 and Courtney's here, I'm coming out.
Yeah, they're not on demand.
That's true.
So, favorite location.
The favorite one I've been to, I'm gonna have to say, is Belle Grove.
Yeah, I was gonna go there.
I mean, that's probably the favorite one I've been to in Virginia.
Yeah, Belle Grove Plantation at Port Conway.
But I would have to say the cemetery is probably my favorite to investigate, just because I've got a something there that keeps on messing with me every time I go there. I know it sounds crazy, but every time I go there, I get the same name on the spirit box every time. It always has jokes like
it's a
that comes through the
prankster.
spirit box. To me.
That's good.
It all now. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in that, and I don't believe in things happening for no reason. But the spirit that's been communicating through the spirit box it's communicating through the apps. I didn't believe in phone apps for a long time. I didn't believe in them until I've seen them do things that I can't explain. But this spirit communicated through the phone app, through the spirit box, through the spirit apps. We just went during the day one time. Like, let's just pull out our equipment during the day and see what happens. And it led us right to that spirit's grave. Out of 20,000 reported graves, there's actually like 20 or 30 more thousand unreported graves in the Potter's.
Right.
And so at this location, and I went and we just went and stumbled right upon this man's grave, and right to it. His name, there's a marker that tells you what he was. Everything that he said through the spirit box is on his grave. And I just like, what are the odds of that? Out of 20,000 people, what are the odds of us walking right up to it? And it's not like a nice, big, beautiful grave or anything. It's a regular sized tombstone. So, you know.
What else did you try?
She uses Spirit Talker a lot.
Yep.
I don't do a lot with the apps. I use Spiritus.
Yeah.
And the reason what made me use that was I went to investigate my pastor that baptized me when I was like 5 or 6. He's a very well-known pastor in this town. He was a big civil rights activist, and you know he did a lot of things in Lynchburg before my time. He's had a huge name. And I asked him, I said, if this is who I'm communicating with, what church did you preach at? And it said the church name through the app. Now, mind you, this is on a phone that doesn't have any service on it. I downloaded the app using Wi-Fi, and the phone's in airplane mode.
Right.
So that it's a dead phone with airplane mode on it. How in the world did it know to say the church he preached at?
Right.
That's the best way to do it.
His wife passed away not too long ago, and I went back to visit the location, and I said, if you're with us, I don't want to call the names out, but I said, if you're with us, you know, can you give me a sign, let me know you're here? You know, I introduced myself, introduced who my parents and grandparents were. Her voice actually came through and said her name on Spiritus app, and she had a really weird, high-pitched, distinguished voice. And I played it over and over and over and over and over again. And her name came through clear as day. Again, on a phone with no service and in airplane mode. And so for that to happen that many times made me a believer in Spiritus.
Yeah, that's one of the better ones out there. Echo Box, we've had a lot of success with. Like, and we've had the same thing happen. There's just things that came out in Echo Box. There's no other way to, it verified everything for us. But it doesn't work everywhere. I mean, I pull out Echo Box and I'll try it at McPike. I get absolutely nothing.
Well, in my opinion, if you have an app that does not work everywhere, then and it works sometimes and doesn't work all the time, then it's a real app.
Right.
If you have something that works all the time, there's no way.
Yeah, question it. But we have another question from Tom McNicholas. He asks, what is the one place on your bucket list that you haven't investigated yet?
The one place on our bucket list that we have not investigated is any asylums or sanatoriums. And so, I have several on my bucket list. St. Albans over here in Virginia is one. Trans-Allegheny is one. I have been on Trans-Alleghany's grounds. I'm a haunted house buff. I'm a haunted house buff. So Halloween is my season. Like when spooky season starts, we go all out over here. And my yards, my lawn guy gets so mad at us because we set up our decorations in September. And he's like, wait a minute, hold on. The grass still needs to get cut until October. And I'm like, you don't understand. It takes us 30 days to set up our entire setup for Halloween. So you just going to have to mow around it. So I think it adds to the aesthetic of the graveyard that we put up, the long, shaggy grass. But I went to the haunted house that they do at Trans-Allegheny. They actually, and I don't know if they still do it, but the year that I went, they took the tuberculosis ward and turned it into a haunted house. And it was pretty cool. I mean, as I'm getting older and as I started really like diving deeper into the paranormal realm, it's really hard to scare me now. So,
yeah.
So
that goes back to what you were saying before when you didn't react. Why? I mean, the only time I've ever really reacted to something was when it truly scared me. If it was just paranormal activity, it's an everyday occurrence. It doesn't bother me.
Right.
But if a spirit throws a fold-up chair at me across the room, my heart's pounding and I'm getting the hell out of there.
Right.
It's a whole different ball game. I've been scratched a few times, and
I was going to ask you guys: have either one of you ever been scratched, or a team member?
Scratched at the cabin on the 360.
Yep.
Mind you, that was kind of strange because this particular team member works at the cemetery we investigate at. She's a groundskeeper, pretty much. She does a little bit of everything, and she bites her nails very often. She has no fingernails. Her nails are. I keep my nails kind of long for a guy because I don't use a pick when I play guitar. We play old country, Southern rock, so I do a lot of picking with my fingers. And so I keep my nails kind of long. And so she had a scarf on that night, and it was cold. And when we were sitting in the basement, and I was arguing with a very negative entity. I mean, the spirit box was calling me the N-word a lot, which is I'm used to that because we investigated old plantations. I'm a walking trigger object. And we go into a plantation house. First thing I hear is the N-word all the time, so I'm used to it. And so I'm literally arguing back and forth, and you hear the N-word. I'm getting called all kind of names, and I asked, "Do you want me to leave?" And it's like, "Get out." And I'm like, "Why do you want me to leave?" "Because you're black." And that's what you're hearing through the spirit box. So finally, Rhonda was sitting beside me. She goes, something just bit me. And so we're arguing. I said, "Tell me your name." I'm going back and forth. And finally, the name Beelzebub comes through the spirit box. And I'm like, finally. Rhonda says, "I need a break." And I'm like, all right. So we go outside. And she said, "Hey, what bit me right here? Do you see a bug bite?" She had 3 cat-like scratch marks on her neck right here. And I was like, wow. That was, and a lot of people will probably say that she did it, that somebody there did it. But you can't recreate with a human finger thin little scratches, unless I took a knife or something. But we're not, I'm not into cutting people, and nobody on our team, I believe, is into
There's
doing
been a few
that.
times where I've been accused of doing that, and it was in places where I couldn't reach.
It's just about every time you've been scratched it's in a place you couldn't reach.
Yes, you couldn't reach around in a certain area to get your hand in that position.
Yeah, there's no way.
Right.
I was scratched right here on my neck in a graveyard once, but I told him, I didn't feel scared. I said, I just think they were trying to get my attention.
Yeah.
Right.
And I always tell people,
Yeah, that one wasn't even that.
yeah, if you feel, how do you feel when it happens? If you feel scared, then it was probably something that you should be scared of. And if you're not scared, then it must not be something all that bad.
Right.
Either that or you enjoy it.
Now, I've never been scratched, but I have been touched. In Savannah, Georgia, we were actually doing the historic theater, and they had just gone through the spiel of the dressing room that there is a gentleman that likes to touch women and mess with women. And I was hoping that we caught it on camera because it felt like, and my stepdaughter was with me, but she said she saw my shirt actually like lift off of my back and then pop back, almost like somebody just pulled my shirt really quick, kind of like that. Mm-hmm. And I felt it, and I turned around. There was nothing behind me but a wall. I was maybe 2 inches from a wall, and she said, "I just saw that." So
was that wall always there? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I don't think it's original to the fire. I think that did.
Yeah, because that place burned down. Like
yeah,
twice.
There's only one original wall to the fire.
It's weird how you hear so many theaters burn down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we said that too. And then the only other thing that's ever happened to me is I know I'm notorious for my messy hair, but normally most of the time my hair's down. And my hair gets messed with all the time. My hair is very long. So, but as far as scratches, bless Rhonda's heart, she will not return back to that location because of that. So, let's see. Ronnie said, I've never been scratched, but been touched at Trans-Allegheny and Old South Pittsburgh.
Well,
we're planning on going to Old South Pittsburgh. We've never been there.
Yeah, we've got that.
And we did stop at Trans-Allegheny once.
Yeah, it didn't scare me when those things happened. It's more like a startling kind of like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't Zach Baggins it. I didn't scream and get possessed and run around. And...
I Zach Baggins it.
Yeah, you can't go. If you can't Zach it, then you got a problem.
That's right.
Cabins,
yeah, we had kind of a unique experience this past weekend at the cabin.
This past weekend,
we had a unique experience. So
I'm not going to see.
Sean doesn't ever jump or scream, and he jumped and screamed, and you can tell him what happened.
Scream. No,
yes, he did.
I did not scream. I did not scream.
I got it on tape.
Yep, I do.
No.
Yes.
I just watched it on tape. I did not scream.
You said, ah.
No.
That's not bad.
Right, so there's an entity in the rancher. Have y'all been to the cabin yet?
No, we haven't.
So
Been up there. I got interviewed by the people who own it like 6 years ago.
So there's an entity on the grounds because he's been seen in the cabin and the rancher. And he's an old man in overalls. And I was in the rancher and I had my back to one of our investigators. No, Ronnie, no, you're not going to see it.
I got you, Ronnie.
I had my back to one of our investigators. Now, mind you, this was the living room where the RW1 was going off and the music box. And we were trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And this is where we caught like the craziest EVP I ever caught. I have a music box that plays London Bridges when it goes off. And I actually caught little girls singing it when it was going off, which was insane.
And our music box doesn't sing, it just plays a tune.
Right. So I kept watching, and I was really like intensely watching this because I was trying to figure out why it kept going off. And when I turned to look at Carrie, I didn't see Carrie. I heard my name. I heard Sean. And I looked, and it was this old man. But I couldn't really see him that well. I can't explain it. It wasn't like a see-through apparition. It wasn't nothing clear like you see in the movies. It was like looking at somebody in a dark room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it stepped forward. And so, I'm a karate guy. Everybody knows I used to fight. And so when I saw that, I just kind of jumped back. It was like that. And I didn't scream, but
No, he went.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those like,
But when you blinked.
But I blinked and there was Carrie standing there. It was weird.
So
It was like it was there, and then it wasn't.
Right.
when I see
That'd be
a
weird.
spirit, when I see a spirit, they look just like me and you.
Yeah.
yeah,
Only difference is sometimes they don't have feet. Well, every time they haven't had feet, but they look as solid as he does. You know,
Well,
just like in Ghost Hunter or Ghost, what is it? Ghostbusters. They went like this to the guy.
yeah.
in
Be
the
careful.
hotel.
Denise, be careful. We had a whole podcast where he's claiming that he's abused by me. Ronnie claims Shayla abuses him. Now Denise abuses Ron.
a lot of
We got it on
abuse.
video.
Oh,
Yeah, we
Lord.
just saw it. I'm looking at it now.
You know what? If he didn't like it, we wouldn't have been married for 40 years.
40 years. Wow. Congratulations to that. That's awesome.
Memorial Day weekend, we will be married 40
That's
years.
just- in today's time, you just don't hear about that. So congratulations are definitely in order.
And just think, he didn't even know I could see spirits until we'd been married.
11 years.
I never
Yeah.
told him.
Yeah, I was like you guys. I went crazy on Halloween. I don't know how she didn't pick up on that. She was like, Halloween's not my thing. I was like, I love it.
I thought he was more into jump scares because we had went to haunted, entertainment haunted houses and stuff.
Right.
And I'm not into jump scares.
Oh, I
But
I
when we
like
were-
to do that.
Yeah, when we were
I
younger,
love them.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, I would volunteer to work at
Yeah, we've got a
haunted forest and things like that.
we have been frequenting the more indie haunted entertainment or attractions, so to speak. So we found out that there's like a whole community of people that put on haunted attractions themselves. I used to go to all the commercial ones, Trans Allegheny, things like that. There's one out here, Scaremare. But then we found out that there's people that own lands, like there's is it Second Wind Farm? Second Wind Farm in Good that puts on a whole like haunted trail.
Yep.
It's all family run, and there's lots of jump scares. It's definitely worth it. The price is right. They've got funnel cakes.
oh yeah,
So
gotta have that.
and then they show like live showings of Friday the 13th, and you can see all the farm animals, and it's just a good time. I like things like that. I like jump scares. I do. Walking through the woods, low light, you don't know what's about to come out, things like that. This one doesn't do jump scares.
Well, here we have to be careful because if we're walking through the woods and it might be a little damp, we might come across something a lot scarier than a ghost.
A gator.
Yeah.
Oh, water moccasins. I mean, almost all of our snakes
We
were
got
poisonous.
every poisonous snake.
So at least it's not scorpions, I guess. I don't know. Scorpions aren't that bad either, but it could be.
Well,
But-
see, and I went to high school in Arizona. So scorpions, he didn't believe me. One Christmas, I gave my kids black lights for Christmas. And he's like, what the hell did they need a black? I said, my kids used to go and flip rocks and hold the black lights and find the scorpions. They wouldn't touch them. They would just find them,
Yeah.
But they had palm tree roaches out there too.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So much fun.
Yeah.
we have, well, what we had in Missouri and Kansas were cave crickets.
Ooh, I don't know what that is.
It looks like a mix between a spider and a cricket.
Oh no.
Yeah.
A cricket that's got like 8 legs, and you're sitting there going, "What in the hell is this thing?" And a lot of them are like this big.
I can
And
deal with ghosts all day long, spirits, things I can't see. But if you jump, run, or crawl faster than me, I do not like you.
That's one of the things that I find odd is that I can't stand spiders. I will yell for Ron to get it. In fact, I've called in a kid off the street to come in my house and kill the spider. But yet,
That's funny.
on a paranormal investigation, I came across one that was the size of my hand at the Missouri State Pen.
Oh God.
And I
Shut the door.
just shut the door and went away.
Yeah.
But I didn't scream. I didn't run.
No.
Shut the door.
Spiders creep me out. Bugs in general. I just don't do bugs.
I can't do snakes.
Yeah, Sean's thing is snakes, so he would not survive in Florida.
I haven't seen any yet.
I have.
We've been here almost a year. I haven't seen any yet, but we do have lizards.
On my other
We have
property, I
lizards
carry a pistol that shoots shotgun shells just for the snakes.
Yes, we have had to put some snakes out of their misery that were like half the length of the house.
Right.
Right.
Well, I have a story about Virginia. We lived in a trailer park down in between Gretna and south of Gretna.
Okay.
I was 2 years old, and my dad went out front. I was playing jump rope. I was just jumping over this thing, and apparently it was a snake. My dad went and got the gun, and guess what we had for dinner?
Snake.
We had rattlesnake for dinner. I did not know it was a rattlesnake.
Mm.
We have similar stories with my sister with a wharf rat, but that's a whole different ballgame. We didn't eat the rat. She thought it was a cat. And she was holding it and petting it and said, "Daddy, can I keep the kitty?" And he looked at it and he was like, "Oh, let me see that kitty." And he took it from her and laid it down and got us out of there as fast as we could.
Oh my God.
But I will tell you that graveyard in Gretna, the one that's goes right through the middle of town, that is, maybe it's only haunted for me because my family's buried in there, but that one was haunted. We went from, I was taking pictures and there were no orbs, nothing, to orbs everywhere within 5 minutes.
Wow.
And do I believe that it was something like that? I don't know, but I did get attacked by mosquitoes. Right after we got out there, we started looking around. And while it was daytime, we had nothing. But of course, I don't know if the train that goes through there, right on the one side of it, if that stirred something up. But it was weird that there was nothing and then there was something. But,
right. The graveyard,
like I said,
by what's that place we eat at?
Jack's,
the drive-up burger joint in Gretna.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Is that the one down by the hotel?
Is it by
There's the Gretna Motel is at the end out a little bit ways out of town.
Right next to a little
like police station or fire station or something.
Okay, so that's actually in town.
Right. And then up that road though is I think the cemetery that you're speaking of.
It's right on the main road going through town. My dad's buried on one side and then my grandfather's buried on the church side.
Gretna, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to check out. See, we go during on our off time when we're not like actually having a team investigation. We frequent cemeteries. We do daytime investigations. We'll bring out a K2, a static meter, something like that, and just kind of see what we can communicate with, especially if we don't have anything to do, you know. Yeah. And we're gonna have to check out the Gretna Cemetery. I didn't think about that. Go out to Gretna. We've done Alta Vista.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of groups that they don't do cemeteries at all.
I can
do a lot.
They don't.
Well,
really?
All the time.
I can give you a name.
Cemeteries aren't
tell you a story about that, but I'm not going to tell you the story. But go search for Jimmy Myers.
Okay.
I-E, not Y. And James Munson Myers.
Okay.
They're on two different sides of the cemetery. So. And if you get anything, give me a call and I will tell you the God's honest truth about why things are the way they are, why the Myers and the Carringtons are here and why there's one over here.
Okay.
Ronnie, you have a question? Or?
Yeah, go ahead, Ronnie, ask a question.
Yeah, Ronnie, ask a question.
So while we're waiting for Ronnie's question, where can everybody find you guys?
So we are on Facebook. We have two different pages, Hill City Paranormal. And then we have our podcast page, which is HCP. So the initials for Hill City Paranormal Podcast, HCP Paranormal Podcast. We can be reached via email if you have any questions, concerns, you feel like, you got butt hurt. You can send us an email to Hill City Ghosts, that is plural, @gmail.com. And then we are also on YouTube and TikTok, Hill City Paranormal.
Okay, now you guys go out and check them out. Ronnie Anderson's question is why do you think cemeteries are haunted? We have an opinion, but I'm going to let you guys go first since you guys are going to have to be going here in a few minutes.
So I got several theories on it. Now, the particular cemetery that we host investigations at has a lot of history dating back to even prior Civil War. But even Civil War history, it was a Civil War hospital located there. A lot of slave activity there. It was the site of the first. Well, I don't want to talk too much about it, but just a lot of death, a lot of murder, a lot of killing, a lot of pain, a lot of sadness. Well, Ron, you know the history of that cemetery.
Yeah.
That cemetery has a lot of artifacts, a lot of different buildings, old structures that are there. But and plus the evidence that I've been able to get from investigating that cemetery is things that I can't debunk. The things I felt and personally seen there are things that I can't debunk, nor has anybody that I've submitted that evidence to, and any other investigator that I've invited to come check it out hasn't been able to have had experiences there. So that particular one. Also, cemeteries, the grounds that people are buried on, especially ones with older dates, have history beyond burial. Especially in Virginia and in any other state. The grounds itself have a tremendous amount of history. Even if you go to Savannah, Georgia, a lot of cemeteries had plantations were on them and houses were on them before they were ever a cemetery.
Yeah.
So if you go back and look at just the history of the grounds itself and the location of them, they were somebody's land and property. It started with mom and dad getting buried there. Then other people got buried there. So that's one of my theories of why I think cemeteries are haunted. The other theory I have, and I could be completely wrong, but I came up with this, that if I'm a spirit, when you pass away, what's the first thing your family does? They'll come visit you solid for like a month, maybe 6 months, and then you can come visit your family at the house. But what happens when they move and they stop visiting you, or if you don't know you're dead, but you know that you're buried here, your family came to visit you here, and then they just stop visiting you. You're going to try to maybe linger where you're at to see who comes to see you. There's people who go visit cemeteries all the time. Maybe you don't know where your family's at, or there's several reasons why a spirit might hang out in a cemetery. I've been to several cemeteries where nothing at all happens at. And then I've been to cemeteries where things are happening that I can't explain, things I've seen that I can't explain.
Right.
So one of my theories is maybe it's someone looking for a loved one, or maybe someone waiting for a loved one. Why is it that Ed and Lorraine Warren was able to monitor this woman walking through the cemetery in a dress every night in Connecticut? There's a cemetery where I've studied Ed and Lorraine Warren a lot, and Ed Warren was studying this woman walking through the cemetery certain nights of the week, every night. Well, why would she be lost walking through a cemetery? So
there are lots of reasons I'd say for that. One, she didn't know that she was buried there.
Right.
She could have just been wandering. Another thing is all their family members are dead.
Right.
Right.
They're especially in places like Connecticut, Virginia. I mean, you've got pre-Civil War, pre-Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
My family was in the House of Burgesses, so that's prior to our nation even being a nation.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got all this stuff going on. So some of those people that died, they don't even know where their family members are, and they want to talk to somebody. Maybe that's it. But my question would be on those ones, is there an expiration date on when they stop coming around?
Right.
I mean, to bounce a little bit off of what Sean said, also, there's a lot of people that have passed away that have unmarked graves, i.e., it was not practiced to mark a slave grave back in the day. Right. So, they were buried where they fell. And that's a lot of, I think that a lot of the attachment in cemeteries is that to the land. If that was at one point their home, they passed away in their home and they were buried right there in their backyard. And now all of a sudden throughout the years, they developed this multi-million-dollar cemetery, right on top of where they thought was home.
Mm-hmm.
why would they not linger around there? And to touch on what you're saying, Ronnie, so in theory, you don't think spirits have a choice to travel? No, I do not agree with that, because if you think about the Ford Theater and the White House, both of those locations have reported that Abe Lincoln haunts both locations. So that's going into a whole nother topic that we can discuss later on, as far as that residual energy and spirits that relive the day that they died.
There's also rumors that Abraham Lincoln also haunts, or at least goes back to his childhood home in the one in Kentucky, and then his adult home in Springfield, Illinois. There's those rumors as well that people have seen him there. Is it wishful thinking? I don't know. But somebody with gigantism that wears a flat top hat, I think everybody's going to go, hey, it's either Abraham Lincoln or it's Jack the Ripper.
I mean, I do honestly 100% believe that spirits can travel. I do.
Yeah.
I think that they can go to wherever there is somebody that they love is.
Right. Yeah. And what Sean was trying to say on there, why would I hang at my grave? Excellent question, Ronnie. You're right. The last thing I want to do is hang at a stone headstone that says rest in peace. But if your family comes and visits you every Sunday at 6 p.m. and brings you flowers, and then all of a sudden they just stop coming, because that's the crude reality of today. Okay, we go real hard. We're very, very, very sad when somebody passes away, but the crude reality is life goes on. That's where that whole statement comes in. Life goes on. People move. People, get a new job, and they can't come at 6 p.m. on Sunday anymore, and so their visits become more infrequent, to sometimes only on major holidays. So you might be looking for that 6 p.m. visit. And you're kind of confused until you give up and you're like, okay, they're just not coming. But, I don't know if spirits have that level of, energy, so to speak, to give up on that.
Right. Some of it may be their entire family is buried in that cemetery.
Right.
So they feel comfort there around.
Right. Them. Right. And that is the most peaceful that I think that I have ever been in my life, is in a cemetery. I mean, you just feel
it is.
The stories.
It is. It actually is peaceful there.
The stories are amazing in a cemetery. And I'll tell you, growing up, I don't know how many picnics I had in the Gretna Cemetery with my family.
Right.
Oh, we've camped out in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you ever camped out in a cemetery?
Yep.
We have not. We're actually doing our first overnight May 11th in the cemetery.
Well, we camped out in tents and had.
We camped out in it all night.
Well, I mean, we would get busted if we didn't have permission in this one, but the one we have permission for, we're going to do an overnight. But yeah, we try to respect the laws.
Yeah, we do too. That's not.
Have I broken into cemeteries as a teenager at night? Absolutely. But now I'm older and I don't feel like being arrested.
Jail time isn't worth it. But yeah, I mean, I tell people this all the time. I broke into the Edgar Allan Poe house in Baltimore when I was like 12 years old, before they had CCTV cameras and all that other stuff. But I mean, I really didn't break in. I basically just walked through the back door.
I mean, we've done some questionable things. We really have. I mean,
kids?
We learned recently that breaking and entering is just you crossing the threshold.
Yeah.
And because we went to an abandoned asylum during the day. We were just in the area in Petersburg, and one of the doors of the building was wide open. And we were like, let's go check out the building, And so we went in it. Next thing we know, we're exiting and there's 2 police cars and a security guard. And we're like,
wow.
We didn't do it. We're not some thugs. We're not in here graffitiing or anything. We were just checking it out and taking pictures. And the cops were totally cool about it. They were like, yeah, we get a lot of vandalism and kids and stuff.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not trespassing you. I'm not anything. Just get permission. And we're like, yeah, sorry. But,
it does happen. And, and again, like you said, you don't condone people trespassing or anything like that. So neither do we. But don't come to my front door and just walk in. You may get shot. Just keep that in mind.
That's right.
But there was a place I wanted to ask you guys about. It's over by Wytheville.
Where's that?
Wytheville,
Oh, Wytheville.
depending upon how the person's saying it. There's a major somebody's house. I
The
forgot the
Octagon
name.
Mansion?
Huh?
Is it the Octagon Mansion?
No, this is off of 81.
Major Graham.
Yeah, Major Graham's house.
We have not been there yet. We have been to the Octagon Mansion. And when we went to the Octagon Mansion, somebody mentioned Major Graham's house. Right now, that's a Halloween attraction.
Oh, wow.
So
Open for
quick story.
investigations.
We were driving up. We were going to Gretna for the first time in years, and I got the kids in the car, and we stopped at Denny's, and then we went on because it's like the next exit or so. And I looked at that house and I go, that place is haunted, and I'm going to go there someday. And my daughter goes, yeah, right. Well, my family's in Bristol, so it's not that far from Bristol to there.
Right.
So, but I didn't know if you guys had heard anything about it because, like I said, I said it was haunted the minute I was driving by. I had no clue.
People say it is. I reached out. They said that they're not, doing private investigations or anything like that. But it is a big, I think they start in the beginning of September and go all the way through November or something like that. It's a huge Halloween attraction.
Yeah, I know that they used to have paranormal events there.
Right.
And that was probably, let's see, when was that? I think it was 2015 that we were there. But I'd like to thank you guys so much for coming on. I know you guys have your show coming
Another
on.
show in 20 minutes.
Yeah, tell everybody about your show real quick, and then
we've got Boozy Brothers Paranormal joining us in about 20 minutes. What was that?
That was it.
Oh, I didn't hear what you said. Sorry. I was like, did I miss something? So yeah, we will be on HCP Paranormal Podcast. And thank you everybody that joined in and commented. I absolutely love the interaction. And thank you guys for having us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it.
Well, I hope you guys had fun.
Oh, we had fun.
Oh, yeah.
Get you back on again.
It was a blast. Anytime y'all want to have us on, we'll be here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to talk about. You guys got a lot of experience. We do too.
Right.
And different places and
All right. Well, if you
all
guys
kinds of crazy things we've ran into.
Yeah, but if you guys do go to the Gretna Cemetery, send me a message and I'll send you the names that I told you. And I will not give you any information. I want to see what you get.
Okay.
I wrote them down, so we're going to go.
And I can tell you where Jimmy's buried, but I cannot tell you where James is buried exactly.
Okay.
But Jimmy's on the back road.
All right. I'll send you a message.
So, but yeah, you guys do that. And thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
And we
thank
look
you.
forward to getting to know you more.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right.
Take
Take
All
care.
right, guys.
Have a good night. Well, that was an interesting show.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, we could have went
Yeah, it was.
quite a few hours. I had a
Especially
lot
for
of
showing
questions.
all the stuff that people are putting on social media as paranormal.
Right.
Everything is either photoshopped or AI generated anymore.
Yeah, you can't put much stock at all in any pictures, and I don't,
No.
I remember when we first started, I think the first 2 or 3 years, I had a camera around my neck. I'd take pictures all the damn time. Now I don't even
We forget.
I don't even know where it is.
We forget we have the camera with us.
I don't even know where the camera is. It's somewhere in the house.
Right.
I mean, I just don't take hardly any pictures anymore.
There's a lot of people out there take pictures for their own entertainment.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way.
That's fine.
And,
I just
you know,
don't really do it anymore.
I take pictures.
No, just like I used to on investigation, set up all these CCTV cameras with all the cables around and everything. Not anymore.
Yeah, I wanted to have that kind of setup, and now I could care less.
And I'll tell you why.
'Cause
Because you have to go through all that
Yeah, you
stuff with
gotta
a
go through
fine tooth comb. And
trying to figure out what's real, what isn't.
I don't have time for that right now.
No.
Maybe when I
Well-
retire,
Right. When you put out 4 cameras and you investigate for 8 hours, there's 32 hours
Yep.
of footage you have to go through.
Yep.
Not counting what you got on your regular nighttime vision camera, your
Yep.
tape recorder, any of that
Cell
stuff.
phone, anything else. Plus,
I mean,
I
going
don't
my
back
know.
God,
and forth.
you spend the next 6 months going over one investigation.
You can almost go in a place and kind of get a feel for it if it's going to be active or not. If it's not going to be active, I wouldn't waste my time setting anything up. You know?
No, I know. We both know that. We've been in locations where as soon as you walk in, you can feel the air. It's so
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah.
Other times, you feel like you're at grandma's house.
Yep.
You know, it's nice and comforting, and you feel just happy as can be.
Yep.
I'll tell you about a picture some other time. It's kind of a little bit of a long story. You probably got another show right coming up.
Yeah, I got another. Yeah, we got another show tonight that could be very interesting. And
Well, they're going to have to beat this one.
Ed,
what do you got? What do you got tonight? It's at 8:00, right?
Yeah, we've got on the conservative view, we've got a professional wrestler that's going to be on there.
Oh, that's right. The guy, Little Trump, right?
Baby Trump is his name in wrestling, right? It's nothing what you would think, but anyway, he's a muscle building bodybuilder and everything, but he beat cancer by using the tinctures with mushrooms in them. He beat his throat cancer. During the time he did, he found Christ. He's a big Christian and faith believer and stuff like that.
Oh, he'll be talking about that then, right?
He's
That
going to be talking about a lot of that.
I have to tell you, I tease all the time about where people find God and Jesus. The ER, jail,
or on their deathbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how that changes their perspective. I mean, my mom's husband, that's how he found Jesus. So
yeah, we gotta feed the dogs and we're gonna get something to eat when we get back by 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting ready to do before the show is I've got some fresh mushrooms for supper tonight. So
well, you can enjoy them. I wouldn't.
Hey, I have a whole nother cup of blackberries from my yard.
I'm not a mushroom
eater.
So.
Hey,
well, I'd like to
morel mushrooms, you can't beat them.
Yep. But I'd like to thank everybody for listening tonight. And if you guys have any ideas for shows that you'd like to hear us talk about or have guests on, please let me know, and I'll hold a gun to their head and get them to come on. And and then join me every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central for the Paranormal Pride. Bad news, no show on Monday. At this point, we're doing some stuff with the granddaughter. It's her 3rd birthday. But coming up on the first Monday in May, I don't know.
Okay.
First Monday in May, I have Chris Houston coming on from No BS right here on the Bill of Rights Network. And join us here every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Central for Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal, with me, Ron, and Carl, and whoever I find that wants to come on here and talk about whatever we have that's not so normal.
That's right. We want to thank Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment's Facebook page for letting us go live there. Things Network's Facebook page that we're part of and go to Network there. And we are live over on Japan Paranormal, but I had to share it from the Bill of Rights Network because Facebook does not allow you to go live using Zoom, StreamYard, any of those platforms anymore on their group pages, which is stupid. But that's what Facebook does. But anyway,
okay, we probably just got kicked from all the pages because you called Facebook stupid.
I don't care.
Sucks.
But
Facebook
everybody check out the Bill of Rights Network for all our shows and everything.
Yeah, write
And we
that
will
down if
see
you like.
next week here on Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal. Have a great week.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
I got